Midnight, Buckingham Palace, the most guarded building in Britain, and yet an alarm slices through the silence. Someone's been caught, not breaking in, but sneaking out. In their gloved hand, a priceless brooch belonging to Princess Catherine. And the person caught, none other than Camilla, Queen Consort. What on earth was she doing tiptoeing through Catherine's private chambers? Because this wasn't the first time, and tonight the palace mask was about to crack. Flashback, 2005, the day Camilla Parker Bowles finally stepped into the light and onto the throne she'd been clawing toward for decades. The royal PR machine went into overdrive. She wasn't a homewrecker, she was misunderstood. Charles' one true love, sure, Jan. But behind the palace gates, whispers told another story. Behind closed doors, her temper was legendary, her jealousy, nuclear. And the one person Camilla could never outshine, never control, never outmaneuver, was the woman destined to become the true Queen of Hearts, Princess Catherine. But Catherine's rise was just beginning, and Camilla was already cracking under the crown. Popularity threat detected. While Camilla wrestled with shadows, the real crown jewel was stepping into the spotlight. Catherine Middleton, Duchess of Cambridge, future queen, and most dangerous of all, beloved. She wasn't born royal, she didn't have aristocratic blood, but the British public, they worshipped her. And every smile, every front page photo was a dagger in Camilla's carefully curated facade. You could almost hear Camilla's teeth grinding over the sound of Christmas carolers. Because Catherine wasn't just charming the family, she was earning something Camilla never did: respect. Respect is dangerous in a family built on appearances. Here's what the press won't tell you. Camilla and Catherine, never close, cordial, yes, but in that razor-sharp British way where smiles are weapons and compliments are veiled insults. Every royal event was a chessboard, every balcony wave, a battle. And every time Catherine's photo stole the front page, Camilla's shrank into the margin. But the tipping point wasn't public, wasn't photographed, and wasn't supposed to get out until now. Palace treasures disappearing, internal investigation launched. By 2024, palace whispers became impossible to ignore. Certain royal heirlooms were gone. Not stolen, not misplaced, just missing. First, a pair of sapphire earrings once worn by Princess Diana, then an embroidered clutch passed down from Queen Elizabeth herself. And finally, the most damning, a diamond brooch, Catherine's favorite. Security was baffled. No forced entry, no external breach, so naturally, the palace turned inward. CCTV was reviewed, keycards checked, staff questioned, and one name kept coming up: Camilla. She wasn't just accessing off-limits areas, she was doing it alone, at night, with no explanation. Suddenly, the Queen Consort's late-night walks looked a lot less like exercise and a lot more like reconnaissance. And then the palace caught her. A woman in a trench coat, a velvet pouch, a hush. Inside Catherine's private suite, a locked drawer, and the brooch, gone. Security breach, royal suite. And just as she turned to leave, bam, the alarm triggered. Questioned by internal security, Camilla insisted it was a misunderstanding, that she was merely rearranging heirlooms. Because of course all royals break into private suites at midnight to rearrange things. Behind palace gates, no one bought it. Not Catherine, not William, and definitely not the staff, who had seen it all. Next, the palace goes silent and Catherine prepares her move. Royal response, none. And here's where it gets royally ugly. Instead of confronting Camilla publicly, the firm went silent. The royal family's favorite weapon, denial. But Catherine, she didn't play that game. According to insiders, she demanded answers, a direct confrontation. Not just about the brooch, but about everything. The snide remarks, the undermining. The stolen moments, the stolen credit, and now, allegedly, stolen property. Staff say the air crackled in that room. Catherine, resolute. Camilla, cornered, but defiant. This wasn't about jewelry anymore, it was about power. And for the first time, Camilla realized she wasn't queen of the castle, she was just borrowing the crown. Next, the silent revenge, Catherine's move. Because in the palace, the game had only just begun. No comment from the palace. Camilla distraught after private confrontation. The day after Catherine confronted Camilla, the palace fell silent. Camilla canceled 2 appearances, a charity gala and a Commonwealth tea. Official reason, scheduling conflicts. Real reason, panic. Funny how getting caught red-handed tends to clear one's calendar. Meanwhile, Catherine returned from her royal tour like nothing happened. Waving, smiling, wearing the exact same brooch Camilla had tried to swipe. A queen's gambit played in pearls and silence. I'm still here, I'm untouchable. And the message was loud and clear without a single word spoken. But Camilla wasn't going down without a fight. When royal women lose control, they don't throw punches. They throw shade. Camilla started pushing for subtle protocol changes, rearranging seating charts, reallocating patronages, suggesting Catherine to focus more on the children and less on public appearances. Because nothing screams queen energy like micromanaging schedules out of spite. But Catherine didn't flinch. Instead, she doubled her engagements, headlined global forums, took over Princess Diana's old charities. The People's Queen, trending #1 worldwide. And every headline, every smiling photo with a world leader was another nail in Camilla's royal coffin. But petty games weren't enough. The war was about to get personal. Early 2025, strange stories emerge. Then the whispers left the palace walls and hit the tabloids. Suddenly, anonymous palace sources were painting Catherine as distant, difficult, not emotionally available to her children. Sound familiar? Because the playbook hadn't changed. And neither had the palace paranoia. Online detectives, royal bloggers, ex-staff, even amateur sleuths started connecting the dots. Every damaging leak, every conveniently timed rumor, traced back to the same circle, Camilla's old press team. Oops. But the real bombshell came from someone inside the palace. Former royal aide speaks out. And then a whistleblower broke the silence. They claimed Camilla had for years infiltrated Catherine's inner circle. She disguised control as mentorship, used staff to feed her private updates, undermined her relationships behind closed doors. But the most shocking allegation? Camilla had a collection. Not just jewelry, photos, Diana's letters, trinkets tied to the Queen Mother, all stored in Camilla's private sitting room. A museum of insecurity, a shrine to envy. The brooch wasn't the first, it was just the first time she got caught. Emergency security measures at Buckingham Palace. After the whistleblower spoke, the firm moved fast. This wasn't a scandal anymore. It was a crisis. Suddenly, Camilla's name vanished from public schedules. Every upcoming event quietly canceled. An emergency summit was called at Sandringham. William, Catherine, King Charles, and a very, very quiet Camilla. What was said in that room? We'll never know. But insiders reported shouting and tears. Not from Catherine, from Charles. Because now his queen was a liability. And the future of this crown was sitting across the table, silent and unshaken. Next, Camilla's last move and the PR disaster of a lifetime. Camilla's last play? A glossy interview with a friendly royal correspondent. Cue the crocodile tears. Cue the misunderstood stepmother narrative. Cue the claim that the brooch scandal was a simple miscommunication. But the internet was not having it. Clips went viral. Side-by-side edits comparing her excuses to Diana's most heartbreaking confessions. And the comments were brutal. No palace statement could undo that PR bloodbath. And for once, the crown's silence spoke louder than words. Next, Camilla's breakdown, the secret recording that changed everything. Spring 2025, the crown chooses its future. By spring, the palace had made its choice. Camilla's public schedule, empty. Catherine's, packed. At the coronation anniversary, the balcony told the truth. Catherine, front and center. Camilla, nowhere in sight. The palace called it health reasons. But royal watchers knew she'd been iced out. And here's the genius of Catherine's revenge. She didn't have to leak. She didn't have to scheme. She didn't even have to speak. She just waited, and the crown came to her. Next, Camilla's breakdown, the secret recording that changed everything. Because the palace can forgive a mistake, but it never forgives weakness. Leaked audio rocks palace private conversation revealed. March 2025. A quiet Sunday until the internet exploded. A 43-second audio clip, uploaded anonymously, untraceable. But the voice? Chillingly familiar. And then the line that would end her reign? I've borrowed a few things from Catherine's collection. She'll get them back when I'm dead. Turns out death wasn't her biggest problem. The Wi-Fi was. The internet does what the crown couldn't. It strikes back. Within minutes, the internet united in utter humiliation for the queen consort. Even the tabloids, once loyal to Camilla, turned overnight. And the memes? Brutal. Because nothing unites the internet like a royal scandal and a little petty Photoshop. Camilla wasn't just trending, she was unraveling in public. Next, the palace scrambles and Camilla faces the unthinkable. The palace scrambled. An urgent meeting was called at Windsor. Inside, King Charles, flanked by advisors. Catherine and William, notably present and notably silent. Camilla, absent. Hard to attend the meeting when you're the problem on the agenda. Rumors swirled. Would she be forced into early retirement? Would there be a public apology? No. They did what the palace always does. They leaked again. Because nothing says not guilty like a staged pity photo and a beagle. But the storm wasn't over. Her own staff was about to revolt. 3 senior staff members resigned, Clarence House in crisis. Here's what didn't make the headlines. 3 longtime staff members from Clarence House resigned quietly. Their exit interviews? Leaked. Camilla had become unmanageable. She distrusted everyone. She accused Catherine of plotting her downfall. She said Charles had turned on her. She said, and I quote, "They want to erase me like they erased Diana. No one needed to erase her. She was self-destructing." Next, Catherine's cold, calculated silence, and the moment the monarchy moved on. The future queen speaks without speaking. While the internet burned with Camilla memes and leaked audio, Catherine did nothing. No statement, no reaction, no press leaks. One day after the audio leaked, she appeared at a children's hospital, smiling, composed, wearing Diana's sapphire earrings. It wasn't just jewelry, it was armor. Diamonds and silence, the deadliest weapons in the palace. Meanwhile, Camilla was busy drafting statements that no one would read. But the real breaking point would come from inside the palace walls. The king who couldn't survive another scandal. King Charles was never built for scandal. He'd survived the 90s, Tampongate, Diana, the lowest approval ratings of his life. And now, in 2025, his queen was the scandal. Sources say Charles pleaded with her to stop fighting Catherine, to rebuild quietly, to salvage what little dignity they had left. But Camilla refused. She accused Charles of betrayal, and in that moment, he made a choice. He began transitioning duties, not to his wife, but to his son and the woman who had already won the crown in silence. Breaking, Queen Consort steps back from duties indefinitely. 2 weeks after the tape leaked, Camilla was gone. The official line, health retreat. The truth? A royal exile without the handcuffs. No press, no photos, no farewell. Just gone. Her private suite? Cleaned out, locks changed. And every item she'd borrowed quietly returned to its rightful owner. Not by request, by order. Because stealing a brooch is bad, but trying to steal the crown's future? Unforgivable. Where is Queen Camilla? Spring 2025. The flowers bloomed. The public smiled. And the monarchy paraded forward like nothing happened. Except Camilla was gone. No trooping the color. No charity visits. No Balmoral summer retreat. No tiaras. No titles. Just a cold, calculated absence. When royals disappear without an obituary, it's not death. It's exile. But erasing a queen takes more than silence. Camilla's digital disappearance. It started subtly. Then suddenly, her official bio on the royal website edited. Her front page photos scrubbed. Her social media mentions archived. You'd think she never existed. Or worse, that she was just a footnote in someone else's story. Which, to be fair, she was. A king torn between love and legacy. Insiders said Charles was devastated, but not about Camilla's fall. About the optics. Because this wasn't just family drama. It was dynastic survival. The monarchy had to look united, forward-facing, above reproach. So Charles made the hardest decision of his reign. He backed Catherine. Officially. Publicly. Translation? She wasn't just the Princess of Wales anymore. She was the palace's new matriarch in waiting. And Catherine wasn't done making her mark, the best revenge legacy. Catherine knew the monarchy wasn't built on love. It was built on legacy. She launched a new foundation, focusing on mental health, education, and female leadership. Subtext? She was dismantling the very kind of palace cruelty that Camilla once embodied. Leadership is not about power. It's about responsibility. And the courage to know when to stay silent and when to speak. Royal insiders knew exactly who that line was aimed at. A new face for the monarchy. The firm knew exactly how to survive this scandal. They didn't apologize. They rebranded. Camilla disappeared from front page schedules. In her place, Catherine, smiling, unstoppable, and trending worldwide. And Camilla? Reduced to a passing reference. Former consort. Wife of King Charles III. Nothing more. They didn't just remove her from power, they erased her from relevance. But the palace wasn't done making a statement. The Catherine Walk official dedication. Then came the royal garden party. Not just any garden party. The first one without Camilla. Queen Elizabeth's favorite rose garden was renamed the Catherine Walk. A path once opened by Camilla, now rededicated to her rival. With Catherine wearing, and we kid you not, the brooch. It wasn't just a ribbon cutting, it was a funeral. And the message was loud and clear. You can't steal what was never meant to be yours. Weeks later, Camilla spotted in the countryside. Weeks after the dedication of the Catherine Walk, Camilla was finally seen again. No entourage, no tiara, just her, alone. In one hand, a drink. In the other, a tabloid. Sources say she laughed bitterly. But the truth? She was never going back. Not to the palace, not to public life, not to the game. Because the monarchy had picked its queen, and it wasn't her. This wasn't supposed to be public. Here's the brutal truth. The royal family will never speak of this again. No documentaries, no interviews, no books authorized by the palace. Camilla's fall, classified, locked in the same vault as Prince Andrew's settlements and Harry's therapy bills. Because what do you do when the queen consort is caught stealing from the future queen? You bury it, then you salt the earth. But inside the palace, the damage was permanent. Behind the gates, life after the scandal. Internally, the palace was never the same. Trust shattered. Staff who once served Camilla were reassigned, others silenced with NDAs. Some paid to pursue other opportunities. Security protocols were overhauled. Rooms that hadn't been touched since Queen Mary now had cameras. Every keycard logged, every hallway watched. Because after Camilla's midnight scavenger hunt through Catherine's private suite, the firm realized the biggest threat to the crown wasn't a rebel prince. It was the queen in the next room. The king who survived scandal until now. The king, now in his late 70s, was visibly aged. Insiders say he barely spoke of Camilla anymore. And when he did, it was only one phrase. It all got out of hand. The love of his life, like the woman he waited decades to marry, was now a symbol of betrayal. Not to him, but to the very image he spent decades rebuilding. Charles survived Diana. He survived scandal. But Camilla, she broke the illusion. And for a monarchy built on illusion, that's fatal. And the children, they saw it all. Explaining the unthinkable. George, Charlotte, and Louis, they saw the aftermath. Not the theft. Not the fight, but the fallout. Insiders say Catherine was honest, age appropriately. Explaining why Granny Camilla wouldn't be around much anymore. George the heir reportedly asked, "Did she steal from us?" Catherine's answer was simple. Yes. Because how do you teach a future king about trust when the last queen tried to take what wasn't hers? The firm returns to form. Don't get it twisted. The firm isn't sorry this happened. They're sorry it got caught. So they did what they always do. They closed the playbook and rewrote the script. Camilla's story was rewritten in real time. Translation? She's been deleted elegantly. But the monarchy's revisionist history was just beginning. 2026, the official biography draft. In 2026, a new authorized royal biography was in the works. And early drafts revealed the final insult. Camilla? Barely a paragraph. No mention of the brooch. No mention of the meltdown. No mention of the silent war she waged and lost. Instead, the focus was all Catherine. Just like that, Camilla Parker Bowles, the woman who waited 50 years to be queen, was turned into a historical asterisk. The silent victor. Here's what Catherine understands better than anyone. The monarchy isn't built on loyalty. It's built on optics, on quiet power, on waiting. She didn't need to humiliate Camilla. She didn't need to scream. She didn't need revenge. She let the palace do what it does best, devour its own. Camilla thought the title made her queen, but titles don't make rulers. History does. De facto queen? Summer 2026. No throne, no ceremony, no proclamation. And yet everyone knows. Princess Catherine was now unofficially the most powerful woman in Britain. She chaired meetings at Windsor. She toured the Commonwealth without Charles or William. International leaders even referred to her as Queen Catherine. And the palace? They didn't correct them. Because when power walks into the room, you rise. Survival over sentiment. With Charles's health declining and William stepping into more duties, the firm made a choice. Survival over sentiment. Camilla was once a calculated risk. Now she was a liability they couldn't afford. So the institution quietly transitioned its image, not around Charles, not around tradition, but around Catherine. She became the face of the modern monarchy. The rebrand. The redemption arc. She was everything Diana could have been if they hadn't crushed her first. A letter to the Times, Camilla speaks one last time. Months after her quiet exit, Camilla broke her silence. Not with an interview. Not with a speech. With a letter. It read, "I've lived a life full of service, love, and imperfection. History will judge the rest." Translation? She was done pretending. Done fighting. Done begging for a crown that was never really hers. The monarchy didn't respond. 'Cause why would they? You don't clap back at ghosts. You let them fade. But the crown wasn't done making its point. Royal Artifact Exhibit 2026. And then the object that started it all returned. The brooch. Buckingham Palace announced that Princess Catherine's iconic diamond and sapphire brooch would be placed on permanent display. Not in the Queen Mother's wing, not beside Diana's tiaras. In a brand new space, the Catherine Gallery. The caption beneath it? Worn by Her Royal Highness the Princess of Wales 2011 present. No mention of theft. No mention of scandal. Only Catherine and the crown she earned through silence. The Catherine era begins. In 2027, Catherine embarked on her most ambitious tour yet. A 14-nation sweep of the Commonwealth. No Charles. No William. Just her. And the headlines said it all. And Camilla? Watching from a countryside estate. Her name? Barely mentioned in passing. She was no longer part of the story. The monarchy had moved on, and so had the world. But Catherine's victory wasn't just public, it was historic. In the end, legacy is everything. This was never just about jewelry, or status, or family politics. This was about legacy. Diana died fighting the system. Camilla tried to manipulate it. But Catherine? She absorbed it and turned it into armor. She didn't just survive the monarchy, she became its weapon. The crown chooses its queen. In the end, there was no ceremony, no declaration, just an image that said everything. One woman clawed her way into the royal family and became expendable. The other walked in smiling and became inevitable. Behind those perfect smiles was the brutal truth. The crown doesn't care who wants it. It only crowns who can wear it. And in the House of Windsor, the crown always wins. This isn't a fairy tale, it's a system. Let's drop the illusion. The British monarchy isn't about love. It isn't about family. It's about preservation. And Camilla? She was a placeholder. A buffer between Charles's past scandals and the public's forgiveness. Once she served her purpose, once she embarrassed the brand, the institution didn't hesitate. They didn't push her out. They let her implode. Then they replaced her with the one woman she'd tried to destroy, the sins of the step queen, and the crime she didn't know she committed. Legacy loyalty. Camilla's biggest mistake wasn't the brooch, or the audio tape, or even the snide leaks. Her real sin? She underestimated legacy. She thought power came from proximity, from being Charles's wife, from surviving scandal. But the monarchy doesn't run on survival. It runs on symbolism. And Catherine was untouchable. Camilla tried to sabotage that symbolism. And that, not the theft, was her true crime. You think the palace didn't know what Camilla was doing? They knew. The staff knew. Charles knew. And Catherine? She knew best of all. But here's the thing. As long as Camilla stayed useful, as long as her scandals were containable, they looked the other way. She only became a problem when her jealousy became evidence. The monarchy can survive tragedy. It can survive treason. It can even survive podcasts. But it cannot survive looking ridiculous. And Camilla made them look like clowns. So out she went. The people's choice. The monarchy moves on without a word. Catherine, the people's queen. The British public didn't riot. They didn't demand Camilla's return. They didn't even ask what really happened. They just moved on. Quietly. Collectively. Effortlessly. Because deep down everyone knew Catherine was the main character all along. Camilla was just a subplot. Necessary for drama, but never meant for the final act. Wiltshire, present day. Today, Camilla lives on a private estate in Wiltshire. Her public title? Gone. Her staff? Gone. She's no longer listed on official royal schedules. Her charities? Quietly shifted to Catherine's portfolio. And when a local reporter by chance asked if she missed royal life, her reply was just 6 words. I miss the quiet before the storm. Which is rich, coming from the woman who caused the storm. Poetic in a way. Because that's all Camilla is now. A ghost in pearls. But the crown wasn't done performing its darkest magic trick. How to erase a queen. The House of Windsor pulled off its most incredible trick yet. It erased a queen without ever admitting she existed. No press conference, no legal battle, no Netflix docuseries. They fed Camilla to the memory hole and served up Catherine as the redemption arc. And it worked. Next, the final reflection, the crown always wins. The crown always wins. So here we are, 7 parts later, one queen buried, one queen rising, and a monarchy still pretending this was just a misunderstanding. Behind the jewels and the titles lies a truth they'll never admit. This wasn't a scandal. It was a takedown. Strategic. Silent. Savage. Camilla lost everything, not because she broke the rules, but because she dared to challenge someone who rewrote them. Catherine didn't outshine Camilla. She outlasted her. She waited, watched, smiled, and when the time came, she let the crown fall straight into her lap. Because in the House of Windsor, the crown always wins, even when it buries its own. And history will only remember the one who wore it well.